LFL prime time. I've got a lot to say because the regular season is wrapping up in most leagues edition. So we'll start in the original league where the regular season was wrapping up after this week. Last week, Todd beats Andy. Josh beats Miles by a single point. Greg beats Phil. Eric beats Matt. I was able to beat Bill. If you look at the standings, Todd sitting at 10-3 all alone at the top. Todd is virtually assured a bye week. His point scored is so much bigger than Josh. Even if he gets in a tie with all three of us, he is good to go. Myself and Josh battling for that second bye week. I do have a significant points scored lead over Josh. So if I win, I'm virtually assured of a bye week myself. Now, however, if I lose or if Josh and I both lose, Miles and Greg back in the mix for a bye week here, both at 8-5. Bill has not officially clinched his playoffs bye yet. He's at 6-7. Eric at 5-8. Bill holds about an 85-point lead in the point scored department. So Bill would have to lose, Eric would have to win, and Eric would have to outscore Bill by about 85. Stranger things have happened, but you certainly like Bill's chances. Andy, Phil, Matt already going fishing for the summer. Week 14, your final regular season week. Todd taking on Bill. Todd with a 23-13 lead in the series, including his Week 7 win and including his win in last year's semifinal game. Josh taking on Miles. Josh has won all three of these games in the series, including last week, where we had a little schedule quirkiness I'm going to try and work out this offseason. But they're going at it again, jockeying for a playoff position. Greg taking on Andy. This is a traditional regular season ending game. Last year, Greg actually knocked Andy out of the playoffs with his win in Week 13 last year. Andy does hold the 22-20 lead in the series. Phil taking on Eric. Eric won their earlier game of the season. However, Phil holds a 30-24 lead in the series. And then finally, look, we had an extra week. I thought I'd get an extra rivalry game in here. Matt and I, of course, the most storied rivalry in this league. Gonna get it on again. I hold 37-36 lead in the series after Matt beat me way back in Week 1. Move on to LFFL 2, your winners were Andy, Greg, Phil, Todd, and myself. Looking at the standings, we have two teams pulling away right here. And this is coming down to Andy and Greg. They're miles ahead in scoring. They're the two best teams. Awesome stuff. Andy sitting at 10-3, Greg 9-4. They do play coming up in Week 17. So we'll see what happens leading into Week 17. Couple of good games for him this week. Eric, Bill, Sean holding out faint hopes at 7-6. Mills and Todd at 6-7. And those are the two opponents this week for Andy and Greg. Andy taking on Todd, Greg taking on the Merrills. Can one lose this week, or do we continue to move towards that pivotal Week 17 showdown? Other games this week, Sean taking on Phil, Eric taking on Miles, Bill taking on myself. LFFL 3, we had Phil over Miles. Bill wins, Matt Brennan wins, Matt Merrill wins, Eric wins, Todd wins. Pretty much to form here, what you would expect. Phil, 10-3, looking good for that bye week, is strong in points scored, but loss opens him up to a mess. Win, he's got a bye week. Lose, and need some luck here. 9-4 teams. Matt, Brennan, Eric, Bill, all still very much alive for this bye week. Bill really not very alive because Bill's point scored is not very good. He's been trying to pull it up as we've been going, but he's still about 8th. He's in trouble when it comes to the bye week. Miles at 8-5. Todd at 7-6 is in the driver's seat for the last playoff spot. However, Matt Merrill, I've been telling you this for 3 weeks now. Matt Merrill is crushing this league. He's first in points scored. If Matt can get this win and pull up into a tie with Todd, Matt would very well get this playoff spot. Andy at 6-7 is basically out of the playoffs. No way he can catch Matt's points scored. Todd is significantly ahead of him as well. Rest of us playing out the string right here. This week, we've got Phil taking on Eric, Miles taking on Todd, Matt Merrill taking on Bill, Matt Brennan taking on Greg, Nate and Andy, Sean and myself. Alpha 4, congratulations, Mr. Berardi. Win number 3, win 10 overall. However, look at this, a 3-way tie after Greg and Eric come in second and third. Greg, Eric, and I all tied top with Miles, just 2 back. What a thrilling finish. Congratulations to myself on Thursday and Miles on Monday for showdown wins. LFFL 5, your semifinal results. 3-week semifinal. After week 1, Bill leads Greg and I lead Eric. LFFL 6, congratulations. Greg jumps from 4th all the way up to 1st. That's going to be important in about 35 seconds. February, changed leaders again. Eric, I feel like this changes every single week. Eric has popped in the lead over there in February. LFFL 7, Eric, oh, so close. If Josh Allen, 2 different times, the Bills were inside the 10 in the 4th quarter. If Josh Allen gets a touchdown on either of those drives, Eric moves on. Greg is eliminated, but Greg survives again, moves on to face Sean. Sean has been the highest scoring team 3 of the last 4 weeks. A tough challenge, but Greg's little engine that could has been all on the verge of elimination all year long. Let's see if he can do it one more week. LFFL 8, Phil continues to lead the way. No change here. LFFL 9, congratulations, Phil and Todd. Moving on to the championship round, weeks 14 through 16, a 3-week championship. Phil and Todd, you can make a change if you want to. Let me know. And then finally, your player of the year, Greg, solidifies his lead based on the awesome work he did over there in the LFFL 6. Those best ball leagues, good work. Eric in second. I'm third. Josh hanging in fourth. Good luck.